Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jacob Rudner here alongside Noah Cameras, and welcome to dTSPN. So, what an awesome weekend it was for the NBA.
Yeah.
We had the All-Star weekend up in Toronto. Big congratulations to Kobe Bryant ending his career on a high note up in Toronto. He had a great week. And you know who else had a great week? All four of our dunk competition people. Will the Thrill, he headed out there. He did not thrill.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Steve Nash, Andre Drummond duo. They did not thrill.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine. They thrilled.
They did.
They were good. They were really good. As a matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact, I'm pretty sure some of them, Aaron Gordon, may have potentially had one of the best dunks of all time, literally sitting over his own mascot. That's tough, ladies and gentlemen.
It's crazy.
His head was on the rim.
Basically.
Anyway, great weekend, but a little bit of controversy coming out of it. Should Aaron Gordon have won that competition?
I say no. Maybe everyone disagrees with me, but I say no because Aaron Gordon, I think his dunks were better than Zach LaVine's. I think they were more creative and they were better than him. But Zach LaVine did deserve 50s. His dunks from the free throw line, he did what Michael Jordan did with a twist. He added the through the legs, he added behind the back, he added an alley-oop. And he did what Michael Jordan did, but even better. And even though Aaron Gordon's dunks may have been a little better than his, he still deserved 50s. So when you're going back 50, 50, 50, 50, you don't have to compare it to the one before. You're saying that dunk itself was a 50.
There's my problem, though, with that, is that I think that Aaron Gordon had his own dunks. He wasn't basing his dunks from another person. I think that it's still creative. I think Zach LaVine is still fantastic. I think he's a great dunker, don't get me wrong. But he should not have won this competition. I think that Aaron Gordon combined his strength, his agility, everything that you may need to throw down a slam dunk, plus the creativity, plus the flexibility. Anything that ends in ility, he had it, he did it. It was a fantastic dunk contest. Aaron Gordon was absolutely phenomenal, and he also demonstrated the utmost of every single aspect that goes into dunking, and I think that he easily should have won this
He
competition.
also had really cool props. I mean, he had his mascot on a hoverboard, and then at one point he had his mascot spinning, which means he had to perfectly time the spin on the hoverboard with grabbing the ball. He palmed it, and he came back around. It was a fantastic dunk.
So who are you fighting for right now?
Well, I think he had a great individual performance, but Zach LaVine did deserve the 10s. He had great dunks himself, even though they were not as creative. His dunks were powerful. They were very smart. They were very, very creative. Even though he took from Michael Jordan just dunked it. Zach LaVine did not just dunk
The problem is with that is that Zach LaVine, the guy that you thought should have won that competition, and he did, the guy that you think won that competition thinks that Aaron Gordon should have won.
He doesn't think he should win. He just thinks that
He
may
thinks
have
he was
gotten it.
robbed.
I mean, he thinks that Aaron Gordon and him maybe could have tied. They both did. I mean, he said more that they both deserved to win.
No,
Not
I think
Aaron Gordon should have won.
that he thinks he was robbed. I think that Aaron Gordon easily should have won that competition. I think that they both had a fantastic weekend. Congratulations to both of them. Should have been a tie. It wasn't. It's okay. We got Zach LaVine, second year in a row. Moving on, though, NBA trade deadline coming up tomorrow. That's a pretty big deal, and because we have a lot of stars that are looking to be shipped, we have people like Dwight Howard, Hassan Whiteside, Jeff Teague, Al Horford, Blake Griffin. All of these people are potentially on the move, not necessarily. So if we look at Dwight Howard, and also thank you to all the people, all of our fans from all over the place who are asking questions about this week. And our first question is from Joseph from England. He wanted to know, is Dwight Howard going to be better somewhere else, and are the Rockets going to try and move him?
I think yes. I mean, I think the Rockets will try to move him. The question is, will someone want to take him? Because Dwight Howard, he started off with the Magic. He was their best player, but it was really hard with him and the coach to mesh. And they did make it to the finals. They lost in 5 to the Lakers. And since then, Dwight Howard has just been a problem. Then he went to the Lakers, where that was a huge problem the whole time. The Lakers thought they were going to have Showtime back with Nash, Kobe, and Dwight. But Dwight never just got into his game. He had some injuries, but he also had coaching problems. Now he's with the Rockets. And last year they were really good. This year they were surprisingly bad. Kevin McHale got fired, and that's another problem you have with Dwight Howard. So you think he has kind of been trademarked with the untradeable star mark because it's hard to take him if you know you're gonna have some problems.
And here's where the biggest problem is for Dwight Howard is I don't think he's movable because other people aren't going to want him.
Yeah.
And not that other people don't want his playing, because his playing is fantastic. I think Dwight Howard is a fantastic basketball player. He always has been. But my problem with Dwight Howard is he has the attitude of a 3-year-old. I think that he is not somebody that is playing like a professional. He's not playing like somebody that's being paid such big money.
$22 million.
$22 million to act like you are in a locker room with guys that are just there to respect you. And even if they're not there to respect you, you guys are playing ball together. It is your one and only job for $22 million, Dwight Howard, to win games. And you are not winning games when you are not treating your teammates with respect. That is my biggest problem with Dwight Howard. That is the only reason I think Dwight Howard will not get moved this offseason. I think this trade deadline. I think that the Rockets are trying hard.
Yeah.
I think they want to get rid of him because he is not the team player that they want on that team. And I think that they're not going to be successful, and the only reason being is Dwight Howard is so difficult to move because of that attitude.
There have been ideas, maybe Dwight to the Celtics, Dwight to the Rockets, maybe. Dwight to the Heat, excuse me. And that would be a Dwight Howard for Hassan Whiteside switch. The problem is the money, though, because Dwight Howard, like we said, has $22 million, and Hassan Whiteside has less than $1 million. So there would have to be other players involved, maybe like a Luol Deng, who has a good amount of money on his contract. So with that, you would think that if they do that, it would be Hassan Whiteside going to the Rockets, who has a lot of potential in this league, a great shot blocker. But there is one problem with centers in this league. This game has kind of turned into a three-point game. I mean, it's better to get 3 points than 2 points, and also three-point shooters are usually guards, and they can run down the floor faster. Dwight Howard cannot run down the floor as fast, and besides
Dwight Howard is not fast.
Yeah, and besides rebounding, I mean, what's the point of having a big man if you can get 3 points instead of 2?
I think that there are other ways to get rebounds. Anyway, and that actually brings me to my next subject with Al Horford and Jeff Teague on the Hawks, and from a fan again from Oren from Los Angeles, he wants to know, are the Hawks going to try and sell high on these two guys?
I think they're going to try, but the only team that might take Horford would be the Celtics, but they also might be in the Dwight Howard sweepstakes.
They also have Olenek, though, and that's another problem, but I don't think they needed another center.
But Hassan Whiteside's better, and he has more potential, and he's on a one-year deal right now, but if they re-sign him for like 4 or 5 years next in the offseason, then we'll be set. And the Celtics are basically one good star away from being a great team, and they have Thomas, they have Smart, they have Crowder, they have many role players.
And you think Horford's going to be the one to put them over the edge?
I think Horford could be the edge, maybe Hassan Whiteside if they do that deal, but they need someone, they just need one star that can help them. And then Jeff Teague, maybe they're going to go to the Utah Jazz and a swap for Burke and others.
Oh, that would be huge, though, for the Jazz. I think that would work differently because he's not a center, and I think that the Jazz are looking for somebody that big, and I think that will push the Jazz over the hump between your average team, and then you have your great teams, and then you have your ones that are sitting right up here that are like, okay, you're good, but you're almost great. And then if you throw Jeff Teague into the mix, that could push them over to the area where they could be great,
and they can make the playoffs.
They are in a position where that could happen. And then speaking of stars, we from Elijah from New York wanted to know, with Blake Griffin, I mean, he's been a huge problem lately with also the way he's acting along with Dwight Howard. These two guys are just having problems here. And he wants to know, are the Clippers just better without him?
Well, I think that the Clippers are going to try to move him at the deadline because, as we've seen, they have been winning more with just Jordan and Paul instead of having also Griffin. I mean, first he got injured, then he punched one of his staff members, then he got injured again, so now he's out 4 weeks plus a suspension after, and the Clippers are winning without him.
Yeah.
But he is still a top player in this league, probably one of the best power forwards in the league, and let alone the top player in the league. So, I mean, you want to think maybe the Nuggets, but the problem is the Clippers are asking for so much. The Clippers would want Gallinari, they would want Fareed, they would want Barton, and they would want Jusuf Nurkic, all for just Blake Griffin and maybe Lance Stevenson. So the problem is, will the Nuggets want to give up a lot of their future for one top player?
In my opinion, it's not worth it. I don't think that Blake Griffin, I don't even think I would want Blake Griffin on my team. If I was a general manager of any basketball team that might need the power forward position, Blake Griffin, even though he's amazing, is not my guy. First of all, I'm going to have to give it way too much. Second of all, I don't need one of my players punching my staff, and I don't need my players getting into fights with each other and injuring themselves because of it. So that's my huge issue with Blake Griffin. We will keep you guys posted about this year's trade deadline.
It's going to be very, very exciting.
Make sure to check out our Twitter to make sure you get a part of the excitement, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much.